Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Stanley and I am coming to you to bring you a new math lesson today. I'm going to try something a little bit differently, so hopefully it works. Bear with me just in case. So let's get started. Today we are looking at Module 5, Lesson 19, and our objective is I can understand distance and position on the number line as strategies for comparing fractions 85% of the time as measured by the exit ticket. So yesterday we practiced placing fractions on the number line and comparing them, seeing what was greater than or less than or equal to when it comes to those fractions, and specifically looking at them on a number line. And today we're going to take it just to the next step. As I mentioned yesterday, today our lesson might look a little bit different because now that school is going to be closed for an additional several weeks. We're moving to do a lot more online learning. So I'm hoping that this is more effective. Just expect some changes into what you're expected to complete every week. So let's get started. Let's see here. All right. Okay, today we're going to jump straight into our guided practice. You're going to be getting on Zern later on and practicing some math games using Zern. So we're skipping our problem of the day and our challenge of the day because we will be doing that on Zern independently. All right, it is time for our Zern lesson. Here we go.
What's up, Math Pro? Let's Zern.
All right.
Partition the rectangle into fourths and shade 1/4.
So we're going to partition this rectangle into fourths and shade 1/4. So here we go. We need fourths, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need to shade in 1/4. I'm going to walk you through this on the screen, and when you get on Zern, this will be optional for you. If you would like to do math chat, you're more than welcome to, but you are not required to. We're just going to do this together for now. All right, partition the rectangle into fourths and shade 1/4. We did that. Label the shaded fraction. This is going to be 1/4. Now partition the rectangle into fourths and shade 3 copies of 1/4. So let's split this into fourths again. We want 4 equal pieces, and we need 3 copies of 1/4. There's 1/4, another fourth, and another fourth. 3 copies of 1/4. Label the shaded fraction. Since 3 are shaded in, we know 3 is going to go in the denominator, and 4, or in the numerator, and 4 is going to go in the denominator because our shape is split into 4 equal parts.
Kayla.
I partitioned and shaded one rectangle to show 1/4 like this. I partitioned and shaded another rectangle to show 3 copies of 1/4 like this.
Nice. Which shaded fraction is larger?
Let's take a look at these two fractions. Which one is larger, 1/4 or 3/4? Based on this picture, I know that 3/4 is greater than 1/4.
I know 3/4 is larger than 1/4 because 3 parts is greater than 1 part when the parts are the same size.
You got it. Watch as I use our rectangles to measure and draw a number line from 0 to 1 like this.
All right. I know that you don't have your Mission 5 Lesson 19 notes, but I still want you to follow along with me. Partition the number line into 4 equal segments. Label the number line using fourths.
Kayla.
I partitioned the number line into fourths and labeled it like this.
All right. Compare 1/4 to 3/4. Let's just talk through this really quick. We know that 1/4 is closer to the number 0, so 1/4 is less than 3/4.
1/4 is here on the number line. Since 1/4 is to the left of 3/4, 1/4 is smaller than 3/4.
Correct. The smaller fraction will always be to the left of the larger fraction. We can compare fractions by looking at their positions on the number line.
All right, 1/4 is less than 3/4. Okay, let's do one more. Label the holes with the fractional unit shown on the number line. So we know that each one of these holes is split into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So 4 is going to go in the denominator for each of these fractions, like so. All right, at the 0 mark, we have 0/4. At 1 hole, we have 4/4 because there are 4 pieces in 1 hole. At the number 2, we have 8/4 because we're adding another 4, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And at the number 3, we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 12/4. Plot 6/4 and 9/4 on the number line. All right, so let's see. 6/4, 4, 5, 6 would be here, and 9/4 would be here. Compare the fractions. 6/4 is it equal to, less than, or greater than 9/4? 6/4 is to the left of 9/4, so I know that that is less than 9/4.
Nice work comparing fractions on the number line. Head on over to the Tower of Power.
All right, we love it. Just remember that when you get on Zern, you can do Math Chat again to practice this skill. All right. And when you get onto Zern, you may not be starting at lesson 19 because we are starting doing this distance learning change a little bit late. So when you get onto Zern to do your independent practice, just do one lesson. Even if you're on lesson 14 or on lesson 15, just complete one lesson. Starting tomorrow, I'll be able to move everyone to lesson 20. You need to make sure you do your number gym sprint, Tower of Power, and bonus. And then if you want to, you could do Math Chat as an extra practice, but you are not required to. All right, let's go to the next slide here. Okay, we are on, sorry guys, our lesson 19 problem set. So you are going to want to turn to the lesson 19 problem set. Hang on one second, see if I can do it this way. The lesson 19 problem set in your workbook right here. So we're going to be doing this a little bit different. I'm trying to screencast on my iPad, so we'll see how this goes. We're going to do these problems together. Number 1, divide each number line into the given fractional unit. Then place the fractions, write each whole as a fraction. So before we even go any further, make sure that you're opened up to the lesson 19 problem set in your workbook. It's going to be towards the second half of your notebook or of your workbook. So open up to lesson 19 problem set. If you need to pause this video, please press pause and go get your book. Make sure your page matches mine. Okay. Divide each number line into the given fractional unit. So if I look at the denominator and I look at that word halves for A, I know that I'm splitting each of these wholes into 2 pieces because there are 2 halves in 1 whole. So let's see. There's a half. There's a half. There's a half. All right, then place the fractions. Write each whole as a fraction. So let's see. At 0, I have 0 halves. And at 1, I have 2 halves. At 2, I have 4 halves. And at 3, I have 6 halves. Right? Because there are 2 in each whole. All right. Now I need to place my fractions. I'm going to go to 3 halves. So 1, 2, 3 halves is right here. I need to find five halves, which is right here. And I already labeled 4 halves when I did my hole. So I want you to take a minute and make sure your answer matches mine. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay. Hey guys, listen. Whisper, okay? All right, let's move on to B. We're looking at fourths. Here we just have one hole. Or no, we have more than one hole. We're starting at 0, we're ending at 3. So I'm going to split this into 3 parts. Know that my my picture here isn't the greatest, but I'm going to just do my best. Now I'm going to split each hole into fourths. Well, before that, I'm going to label my holes. So I've got 0 fourths, 4 fourths, and 6 fourths. Oh, nope, 8 fourths, 8 fourths, and 12 fourths. Now I need to split each into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 4. Next, I'm going to label the fractions that are given below. So I've got 9 fourths. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fourths would be right here. Then that's 9 fourths is right here. 11 fourths is right here. And 6 fourths, 4, 5, 6 is right here. Okay, moving on to C. I want you to do this one on your own and then check your work. So I'm just going to pause for a minute, hit the pause button, and then when you're done completing C on your own, hit play again to check your work. Okay, so again, we have 0 to 3. That means we should have 3 holes on this number line. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Just 1 hole. 2 holes, so that's 1, 2, 3. All right, and we're splitting this into eighths. So I've got to kind of draw my lines really small here. Each hole is going to be in 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I need to label my holes. Got 0 eighths by the 0, 8 eighths by the 1. I've got 16 eighths by the number 2, and I've got 24 eighths by the number 3. Now I need to label the fractions that are given to me. So 24 eighths would be, let's see, 24 eighths is right here, and I already labeled that one, check. 19 eighths, let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19 eighths would be right here. And 16 eighths, let's see. And 16 eighths I labeled right here, right by the number 2. Check. Okay, next, number 2. Use the number lines above to compare the following fractions using greater than, less than, or equal to. So we're going to do that part together. 6 fourths and 4 fourths. Let's see. Or 6 fourths and 9 fourths. So I'm going to go to my fourths, 6 fourths and 9 fourths. 6 fourths is less than 9 fourths because it is closer to the 0. It's to the left of 9 fourths. That means it's less than. I want you to take a minute, pause this video, and complete this section on your own before hitting play again to check your answers. So just take a minute to complete this on your own. Hit pause on your screen. And then hit play again to check your answers. Okay, let's go over this together. 3/2 is less than, 5/2. 19/8 is greater than 16/8. 16/8 and 3/2. So let's look over here. 16/8 is right here, and 3/2 is up here. So 3/2 is less than. 16/8 is the greater one. 16/8 is greater than 3/2. 9/4 and 19/8. I'm just going to look at my number lines. I see fourths by B. So I'm going to look at 9/4. I see where that's at. It's right here, right? And then 19/8 is right here. And I can see that these two actually are very, very similar. Let's see. 19/8 and 9/4. 19/8 is just a tiny bit bigger than 9/4. All right, 4/2 and 16/8. Let's see. 4/2 is right here by the number 2. 16/8 is right here by the number 2. Those are equal. 6/4 and 16/8. So 6/4 is over here. 16/8 is over here, so 6/4 is less than 16/8. 5/2 and 9/4. So I'm going to look for 5/2. Here's 5/2. And 9/4 is over here. Let's see. 5/2 and 9/4. My number lines aren't equal. 5/2 is just a tiny bit bigger than 9/4. And then 24/8 and 11/4. So here's 24/8. And then 11/4 is right here. So 24/8 is greater than 11/4. Take a minute to check your work. And then make sure your answers match mine. We're going to go on to the next page. See if I can turn the page on my iPad. Come on. All right, here we go. Lesson 19 problem set. We're on to the word problems. Choose a greater than comparison you made in problem 2. Use pictures and words to explain how you made that comparison. This one I want you to do on your own. Basically, you're going to look at what you did on the first page, and you're going to draw a picture, use pictures, numbers, or words to explain how you made that comparison. So, for example, go back here. If it'll let me, let's see. Oh boy. Come on, computer. Here we go. I have to just kind of look back at what I did here. 16/8. Let's do 6/4 is less than 9/4. That's the example I'm going to use with you. 6/4 was less than 9/4. What I would do is I would draw a picture, right? So here's my fourths. I'm going to shade in 6/4. So this is 6/4 is less than 9/4. So this is 4/4, 8/4, 9/4. That's my picture showing. So I want you to choose your own and make the comparison and then explain how you made that comparison using pictures, numbers, and words to explain. All right, number 4. Choose a less than comparison you made. So this should actually go here. Man, oh man. Choose a less than comparison. This was supposed to be a greater than comparison you made in problem 2. Use pictures, numbers, and words to explain a different way of thinking about the comparison than what you wrote in problem 3. So you need to just pick another one and do the same thing we just did. I'll let you do that on your own. And number 5, choose an equal to comparison you made in problem 2. This one is an equal to comparison you made in problem 2. Use pictures, numbers, and words to explain 2 ways your comparison is true. So for example, if I had, let's see, 4/4 is equal to 8/8, I could draw this picture to show. Right? It's the same size, the same holes, but they're just split into a different amount of parts, right? So I want you to do the same thing. Just look back at your work from the first page and explain those comparisons. When you're done, I want you to send me a picture of your work and then look on Google Slides to see what your next job is. Starting today, we're going to be doing a Zern lesson and reflex as part of our everyday math. It's really, really important that you complete this work in order to keep learning and be prepared to go to 4th grade. I hope this helped you. Again, all you need to do is, you don't need to do the math chat portion, but you need to do everything else and complete the lesson. Unlock the next lesson. That's how I know you'll be complete. All right, good luck. I hope this was helpful to you, and I can't wait to talk to you later. Good job, everyone.